Hello everyone. So now this Sunday I have taken up this play called Macbeth, and this is a well-known play and it was written by William Shakespeare. So since this play is a well-known play, as I told you, and it is prescribed in many of the universities, so I thought that I should make it as a topic for my discussion today, Macbeth. So as we start as we start our topic, let's know something about tragedy first, because this is a tragedy. So what uh, what is the meaning of tragedy? So you know that we will follow the definition that was given in by Aristotle in his Poetics, that tragedy is an imitation that is serious of an action that is serious, and it should have a certain magnitude, it should have a proper beginning, middle and end, and it should be in a dramatic form, not in a narrative form, and lastly it should evoke the feelings of pity and fear that Aristotle termed as catharsis. So Aristotle, when he was talking about this particular when a tragedy, he also enlisted the six elements which were required for tragedy, and they were plot, character, thought, diction, spectacle, and song. And out of these six elements, Aristotle gave more importance to plot, as he said that plot is the soul of tragedy. He also enlisted some of the qualities of the tragic hero, that who should be a tragic hero, and he should also suffer from a kind of error of judgment that Aristotle called as hamartia. Aristotle also talked about the some of the features that should be in the plot. For example, he said there should be hamartia, that is he called error of judgment, and then peripetia, that is reversal of fortune, then anagrisis, that is discovery, and last is the catharsis, or we can say the catastrophe or the end of it. So he also emphasized on the three dramatic unities, like unity of place, unity of time, and unity of action. So Aristotle, you know that Aristotle's uh, these or what are the characteristics which were enlisted by Aristotle, they were also followed by English dramatists as well. For example, Shakespeare. When we talk about English drama, that started with native drama, miracle and morality plays and interludes, and followed by the dramas written by the university wits. For example, Christopher Marlowe, he wrote you know, Dr. Faustus. And when Shakespeare came to the scene, we find that Shakespeare, he tried his hands on all forms of drama, because he didn't limit himself to a particular form. For example, he didn't write only tragedy, he also wrote comedy, he also wrote you know, tragic comedy, he wrote historical plays, he wrote Roman plays. So he tried his hand on different forms of drama. So with this brief introduction, uh, let me tell you more about William Shakespeare. As William Shakespeare, he was born on 26th of April 1564 at Stratford upon Avon, and he is hailed as a national poet of England and as Bard of Avon. Now he has become a symbol of English culture, you know. So English, you know, Shakespeare, he in his career he wrote 37 plays, and at some places you might get the this number, you know, increasing up to 39 plays. Okay, so that included tragedies, comedies, and tragic comedies. Three long narrative poems he wrote, and 154 sonnets. So most of his well-known works, they were published between 1589 to 1613, and Shakespeare died on 23rd April 1616. So this is the legacy of Shakespeare. And now come to this in this particular slide, I have talked about the various plays, the 37 plays which were written by William Shakespeare. And so when we talk about Shakespearean tragedy, we find that Shakespeare, he followed some of the guidelines which were you know, laid by Aristotle regarding tragedy, but he also brought some changes and brought something new as well. For example, when we compare Shakespearean tragedy to Aristotelian tragedy, we find that in Shakespearean tragedy, we have the internal conflict, and that the protagonist, he is suffering from such kind of internal conflict, and that is shown through various soliloquies. For that we can have the example of Hamlet, and that a famous soliloquy in Hamlet, to be and not to be, that is the question. And in Macbeth also, where he is quite you know he is facing a dilemma that whether he should kill Duncan or not. So there are various soliloquies that shows the internal conflict being suffered by the protagonist. Another thing that we find in Shakespeare's tragedy is the comic relief. You know that when we talk about Aristotelian tragedy, we won't find any comic relief, but here, when he feels that a particular scene is getting very heavy, he introduces some clown or some kind of scene in order to lighten the mood of the spectators. So for example, we have the porter scene in Macbeth, we have gravedigger scene in Hamlet. And not only this, but he also provides some of the characters, for example for example, or the clowns, as Fool in King Lear. Okay. And Kent and Fool, they also serve this kind of purpose. Then in Shakespearean tragedy, there is a lack of poetic justice. Sometimes the characters who are innocent, also they are also killed in the tragedy. And that is a lack of poetic justice, because we had not thought that or we have always heard that a person who is good will also be, will receive goodness from all around, but or will be given justice. But this doesn't happen in the case of Shakespearean tragedy. We can have the example of Cordelia. We had our sympathies with Cordelia. We found that she, that there is injustice with her. But still, when we find that Cordelia dies by the end of the play, we feel quite, you know, surprised that this person was good, then why did he or she suffer? Okay, so there are many death. Another feature of Shakespearean tragedy is that there is not only the death of the protagonist, but there are so many deaths. Okay, many of the people, they die by the end of the play. Another thing in Shakespearean tragedy that is found, that is uh, the tragic flaw as a protagonist. That is there in Aristotelian tragedy as well, but here he says that that is a tragic flaw, that is a kind of uh, weakness in one's character. For example, if we look at the four tragedies, we find that all these characters, all the protagonists of these tragedies, be it King Lear, be it Hamlet, be it Macbeth, or be it Othello, they had a kind of tragic flaw in their character. For example, King Lear, he loved flattery. Hamlet, he was unable to take decisions so quickly. He delayed his action, that is procrastination. Then Macbeth, he was spurred by unchecked ambition. And Othello, again by jealousy. So all these characters, they suffered just because of this tragic flaw that they had in their characters. Shakespeare always followed unity of action, because he gave much emphasis to unity of action. Now look, when Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, it was the time 1606. It was the time of King James I in England. King James I was King James VI in Scotland. And as far as King James I is concerned, after the death of Elizabeth I, he ascended to the throne. So King James I, he had a kind of obsession with all such kind of black magic, and we can say he also wrote a book called Demonology. So Shakespeare, he infused some kind of, he incorporated some kind of supernatural element in most of his plays, especially in Macbeth. Okay, that is known for this. And so uh, in Macbeth we have witches, we have ghost. All these things are there in Macbeth. And now let's know what is the theme of Macbeth. Macbeth, the theme of the play is unchecked ambition. As I told you that Macbeth suffered a tragic flaw, that is unchecked ambition. He was very ambitious. That the throughout the play, it is his ambition that makes him, to set out for a journey that starts from the post of Thane of Glamis, and he rose to the position of King of Scotland. And that was only possible because, or that he could only do just because of his ambition. Then guilt, fate, manhood, and violence, these are the themes of Shakespeare's Macbeth. Now look at the slide. Here in this particular slide we find all the major characters. We have the protagonist Macbeth and his wife Lady Macbeth. We have King Duncan. He is the king of Scotland. Banquo, he is a friend of Macbeth and he is again a general in the army of Duncan. Then Macduff, he is a Thane of Fife, and the three witches, and Malcolm, he is Donald, is Duncan's son. So all these characters, they are the major character in the play, and that's why I have made a separate canvas for them. And on the other hand, we have the minor characters like Donald Bain, he is the son of Duncan, of course, the brother of Malcolm. Then Fleance, he is the son of Banquo. Then Lady Macduff, who is the wife of Macduff, son of Macduff. You know that these Lady Macduff and the son of Macduff, there is a very brief scene about them, and how these two people, they are quite innocent, but they are killed by Macbeth. Young Seward and old Seward, Ross, Angus, Lennox, Dr. Seaton, they all are, attendants and the generals. And Hecate, she is the goddess of witchcraft, and Porter, and the three murderers. Okay, the murderers, they are unnamed. So as we have seen that how this play, it has, or as we have met with all the characters, all the main characters of the play, and we are acquainted with the theme, now we should know about the story outline of this play. So the play, the starting, or we can say the opening of the play is very, very important, because here this opening is quite unusual. It doesn't start with any human being, but rather it starts with the conversation that takes place between the that takes place among the three witches. Okay, so witches are unearthly, we all know, we don't see witches in our daily lives. And then look at the weather, because nature also plays a very important role. Okay, and the nature, that it was a kind of very disturbed weather, and the three witches, they meet on a very deserted place, and they are planning to meet Macbeth. So that the three witches, the very opening line of the play, where shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? So they are planning to meet Macbeth. And another thing is that fair is foul and foul is fair. That again indicates about the theme of the entire play. So they decide that when the war is over, when the battle is over, they would be meeting Macbeth. Scene 2 takes place in the court of King Duncan, who is the king of Scotland. And here he is reported by a wounded soldier about the bravery shown by Macbeth in the battlefield. Then a treason is also disclosed, that Thane of Cawdor, he colluded with the Norwegian army, and he rebelled against the king, and this infuriated the king. And King Duncan decides that he cannot tolerate any kind of treachery, any kind of treason. So Thane of Cawdor, he should be executed. And since he was very glad to hear about the bravery of Macbeth, and he was very impressed, and he refers him as, oh my valiant cousin. And he not only refers him as valiant cousin, but he also decides to confer the title of Thane of Cawdor to Macbeth. Now he instructs Ross that he should go and he should address Macbeth as Thane of Cawdor. Okay. So in third scene we are introduced with our protagonist, that's Macbeth. So Macbeth and Banquo, they are returning to Forest where Duncan lives, and when they were coming they were very much tired, and they saw that these three witches, they were sitting there, and they were quite surprised. And look at the response of Banquo and Macbeth. What are these? Speak if thou can. अगर तुम बोल सकती हो, if you can speak if thou can. You look like a woman, but I'm afraid to say so because you have beard, you have chapped lips, you have withered skin. So you belong to this. You are not of this earth. Yes, you are on it. So who are you, or what are you? Then they, Macbeth and Banquo, they are greeted by the witches, particularly Macbeth, and the first witch, she addresses him as, "O Macbeth, hail Macbeth, Thane of Glamis." Now, here is nothing surprising because Macbeth, he was Thane of Glamis. Okay, and this he had got this title from after the death of his father. Then another witch says, "Oh, hail Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor." This was a little bit surprising since Macbeth was quite ignorant that this title was to be conferred upon him, and he was unaware with the punishment that is given to Thane of Cawdor. And the third was astonishing, that when the third which which greeted Macbeth, she said, "Oh, hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter." Now, how can he become the king? This was a question, that how can he become the king? Because the king is alive, his sons were alive, there was no prospects of him being the king. How can he become the king? But he was very much surprised and he wanted to know more. Okay. On the other hand, Banco said that if you can see in future and if you can prophesize that which seed will germinate or which will not, then I ask you to tell something about me, though I am not going to be affected by your prophecy. Then the first witch, she says, "Not happy but happier, not great but greater." And third wish is that, "Banco, you are not going to be the king, but you will give kings to Scotland. That means your generations will rule over Scotland." Macbeth wanted to know more, but before uh, he could proceed, those witches, they vanished into the air as a bubble. And meanwhile, Ross comes and addresses Macbeth as Thane of Cawdor. Now, one prophecy that was made by the witches has come true. Macbeth was surprised. And then Macbeth, he writes a letter to his wife. And Lady Macbeth, when she receives the letter, she starts reading it aloud. And here we also come to know that Lady Macbeth, she was again very much ambitious. She wanted her husband to become the king of Scotland, and she also knows the way. But she says that when she reads out the letter, she says that, "Thane of Glamis you are, Thane of Cawdor you have become, and king of Scotland thou shalt be, but I fear thy nature." Because Macbeth, he was not that kind, he was a kind person. He we know Macbeth through his bravery. He was a well-wisher of king. He was esteemed in Scotland. So she further says that unsex me, God. Why does she say unsex me? Because you know that look at the feminine and the masculine attributes. When we talk about the feminine attributes, we talk about that how compassion, kindness, softness, all these things, they are associated with women. Women, they can't see the bloodshot, the sight of the blood, and she becomes so cruel. Cruelty is not something that is not associated with women, and that's why she says unsex me from tip to toe. And she wants to transfer this kind of spirit to her husband, so that he might fulfill what he has been promised by the witches. And she further says that we find her very much courageous. She says that if I had fed a child, okay, and if I had certain thing in my mind, I could have just snatched the child from my breast and I could have thrown him on the floor. So we find that she was just acting just like a cruel man. Okay, so when Macbeth comes, and she's also informed that Duncan is going to be their guest tonight. So she says that the raven was crowing. Okay, so Macbeth comes, and Macbeth says that Duncan comes. When does he come? Today, tonight. When will he go? Tomorrow. No, he will not go. Why? Because Lady Macbeth wants Macbeth to kill Duncan, and they devise a plot that how would they kill Duncan. Okay, so Lady Macbeth, she says that she will make those two chamberlains drunk, and Macbeth, he will kill Duncan in his chamber. But Macbeth, he was not so sure. He was in a dilemma, as internal conflict is very important in case of Shakespeare's plays. So he was in dilemma that he should kill Duncan or he should not. There is a soliloquy, a long soliloquy that talks about that how he could see the dagger dancing in front of his eyes. So she says that how can he says that how can he kill him? Because Duncan, he is a reputed king, you know that he is held high in esteem by the countrymen. So it is not possible. Secondly, that king is considered to be the next to god. So killing of a king would be a regicide, and he is not going to kill. And being his subject, he should, you know, guard him, he should protect him. How can he kill him? Secondly, he is a guest. Then it is the duty of the host to save the life of the guest. How can he be how can he invite any danger, and how can he uh, put his life into danger? Thirdly, he was his relative. So in three ways he was connected to him. Then how he could ever kill him? But finally, the he was spurred by his ambition, and he succeeds in killing Duncan. Then Lady Macbeth, she comes and she says that you should smear the blood on the body of the two chamberlains whom I have made drunk. And he says that no, look at the blood. He's quite terrified. He says that there is blood in my on my hand. Neptune's ocean will not be able to wash away the blood from my hand. And she goes inside and she smears the blood on the body of the two chamberlains. And she comes back and she says that look, there is also blood in my hand. Macbeth says that Duncan sleeps now, he will sleep no more. And one more thing that Macbeth talks about, that one guard, one chamberlain, he woke up from his slumber and he made a prayer, but he couldn't say amen. So there was a kind of, that there was kind of disturbance, as he had done something wrong. So he was feeling quite uneasy, but Lady Macbeth asked her ask him to go into his chamber and behave as if nothing happened. Okay, so they both go inside their chamber. Next day, um, Mel, Macduff comes that he has assigned this duty to wake up King Duncan. And Duncan says, Macbeth says that, okay, now go and wake him up. So when Macduff comes and he says, oh, horror, horror. Why, oh, horror, horror? Because he finds the dead king. And then Donald Bain and Malcolm all are reported, and Macbeth behaves as if he doesn't know anything. He and his wife, Lady Macbeth, she starts feigning a kind, no, she feign, she starts just, you know, acting out as a, that she faints on the floor. And one more thing that Banco or Macduff says that I am not able to say because you are a woman. It's how can I talk about blood or murder in front of you? And we all know that's an irony that we all know that it's Lady Macbeth who had shed of the femininity, and she had become very cruel. And so Malcolm and Donalbain, they were the sons of Duncan and they flee from Scotland, snuffing a kind of danger to their lives. And Macbeth, since there's no one to claim the throne, so Macbeth, he becomes the king of Scotland, and he is coronated. His coronation ceremony takes place in Scone. Everybody goes to Scone, leaving Macduff. Macduff doesn't go to Scone. Okay, so Banco. Now, when he becomes a king, another thing that puzzles him is Banco. So he wanted to remove Banco. Lady Macbeth was not aware of his plan. So when Banco uh, comes and he says that now I am going to organize a feast tonight. Banco, are you going somewhere? Yes, I am going. Please try to come on time in the evening along with your son. Yeah, of course, I'll come. But on the other hand, we find that as Banco leaves Macbeth, Macbeth calls the three murderers and orders them to kill Banco and Macleans. So he got Banco killed, but Banco, he cried out, Fleance is flee, flee, Fleance, flee. So Fleance is escaped and Banco is killed by the murderers. The murderers come back. Now Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, they are enjoying the feast, but as the murderer comes and he informs that Banco is killed but Fleance escaped, and he says that you killed the snake but you uh, left the, you know the child of the snake. Okay, so and when he comes back he finds that Banco is sitting on his chair. He is paranoid. He says that how can you be here if it happens that the death can come back from the graves? It would have been better to throw their bodies for kites. So and later on he challenges that if you want to fight with me, why don't you fight with me? So look at this, just imagine the scene that Banco's ghost is there, and Macbeth, and he is only visible to Macbeth, but other people they can't see, and are quite taken aback that what has happened to the king. But the king is you know he cannot express what's happening. He is only facing the ghost. So Lady Macbeth, she intervenes and she says that my lord is not well. It would be better that please don't ask many questions to him. And then Lady Macbeth asks Macbeth that what happens, what happened, and he replies that there's a ghost. And he says that she says that you start telling such kind of stories as the grandmother tells the stories to the children in order to terrify them. So you have all such kind of stuff in your mind. So next day, Macbeth, you know, he goes to meet the three witches, and there, the three witches, they are talking to Hecate, and later on, they are just whirling something in the cauldron. They are stirring something. They are making a particular soup, and then Macbeth comes and they say that our masters will answer that. Okay, so what kind of master? The first thing, the first apparition that appears, that is a crowned, sorry, an armed head, and an armed head that instruct Macbeth that uh, that instructs Macbeth, beware of Macduff. Now Macbeth says that yes, I had this kind of doubt and I wanted to remove him. Okay, but the next apparition as it comes, it assures Macbeth that nobody who is born of woman would ever be able to kill you. A bloody child is that apparition, and that assures Macbeth that anybody who is born of a woman would never be able to kill you. Now Macbeth is assured because it is quite natural, everybody is born of woman. So he was assured that he would die a natural death. The third apparition comes, and there he finds that uh, a crowned child, and he is having the branch of a tree. That tells Macbeth that till Burnham Woods comes towards walks towards the Dunsinane Hill, you are safe, Macbeth. And that was again quite natural because it does not happen. The tree cannot walk themselves. Okay, the so Macbeth he was assured, but again one more thing that was puzzling him, since Fleance was not there. So there was a show. Lastly, there was in the last there was a show, and there were 8 kings, and then Macbeth, sorry, Banquo's ghost was taking a mirror. Okay, so he was now again disturbed, and he says, "Oh, old hags." Old hags is referred to the witches. Okay, and then he comes back, and he orders, he orders that Macduff's family should be executed. Whosoever is there in the you know palace of five, they should be executed. Macduff, when he was quite disturbed with the tyranny of Macbeth, he goes to meet Malcolm in England. But he didn't tell this to his wife and the child. And his wife and the child, they are alone in the palace. Ross comes, and she says that his father is dead. He is a traitor. And the child asks, "My father is a traitor?" And she says that yes, he should have been here in order to protect us, but he had gone, turning his face from the responsibilities of protecting his family. He has gone. Your father is dead. Okay, then uh, some murderers come and they kill Lady Macduff and the child. Now, Malcolm, Macduff, and Malcolm, they both are meeting, and Malcolm, he has certain doubts. So, how could he believe Macduff, who turns up so suddenly? How could he turn up? How could he trust Macduff? Macbeth, first of all, he asked that why didn't you let your wife and the child know that you are coming here? Why did you come so suddenly? And secondly, he says that I'm suppose my character, that I have all the vices. Okay, I will not be a good king. It is quite possible that you will appreciate Macbeth if I become the king, because I'm so cruel. I am so voluptuous in nature. I'm so greedy. I have avarice for everything, and I will destroy the peace of Scotland. Now, will you be ready to make me the king of Scotland? And Macduff says, no, not at all, because I love Scotland. Okay, then he is quite sure of the you know patriotism of Macduff. And he says, Malcolm says, that I was only testing you. I am free from any kind of voice, and I'm very innocent person, and I'm ready to attack Scotland. So he, with the help of King of England, okay, he decides to march on Scotland. On the other hand, Lady Macbeth, she is suffering from insomnia, of somnambulism. What is somnambulism? That is a sleepwalking. Okay, so she is quite disturbed, that now she starts recalling the incident that took place earlier. She looks like she is guilty conscious. Her peace is taken away. So her peace is robbed. She has a caper and she walks here and there, just speaking something like, out, out. It keeps on rubbing her hand. Out, out. Who had thought that the old man would have so much blood in him? Okay, thin of, you know thin of wife, he had a wife, etc. and etc. She talks about. The doctor is not able to treat her, and later on we find that Lady Macbeth, she dies. Her death is not shown, but she dies, and it is reported to King Macbeth. And Macbeth, there he is quite philosophical, and then in that long soliloquy of 7 to 8 lines, he says that life is nothing but a walking shadow. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So Macbeth, he is still assured that he is safe till he comes to know that the people of Malcolm is attacking on Scotland, and then a person comes and he informs that the Burnham Wood is coming towards Scotland. But it was not Burnham Wood that's coming towards Dunsinane Hill, but rather, in order to camouflage the army, in order to camouflage the number of the soldiers marching towards Dunsinane Hill, they had taken a branch of the tree from Burnham Wood, and from a distance it appeared as if the Burnham Wood is coming to Dunsinane Hill. So the one prophecy that was made by the witches, it came true. Now there is a scene of battle. Macbeth, he has a duel with Seward, young Seward, and young Seward, he fought bravely, but he is killed by late Macbeth. Then comes Macduff, and he says that, oh, you are also born of woman, so you cannot kill me because I am charmed. Okay, my life is charmed with some kind of a strange power. But Macduff there reveals that I was untimely ripped from my mother's womb, so I'm not born of woman, okay, in a natural way. So now Macbeth, at that time he was quite shocked, but then he is killed by Macbeth and Macduff, and Macbeth, Malcolm, he becomes the king. Okay, and he also decides that all the thane, they would be promoted. So this was the new step that was being taken. So this is the end of the play, end of the tragedy of Macbeth. So it was Macbeth's ambition that was a tragic flaw in Macbeth that became the reason of his downfall. Otherwise, if he had not such kind of ambition, everything would have gone quite smoothly. Okay, but just because of his ambition, he had to kill Duncan. He was terrified, that he was not confident, or he was trembling while killing Duncan. But as he killed Duncan, there were so many deaths. Duncan, then the two chamberlains whom he killed, because he had as he had fear that they might speak the truth. And when he told the when Malcolm asked that, why did you kill, Macduff asked that, why did you kill those two chamberlains, and he said that, I was so uh, you know in I was in anger, and that anger made me kill those two chamberlains as they had killed my king. Okay, Then Banquo is killed, then Lady Macduff is killed, then Seward is killed, then everyone is killed, and finally Macbeth, he is killed uh, by Macduff. Okay, so this was the ending of the play. Now here this, as I told you, that since the play was written during the reign of King James I, King James I, he was fond of the black magic, and he had also written a book called Demonology. So here again we find the appearance of three witches who prophesize the future of Macbeth and Banquo. And not only this, Banquo's ghost is also introduced, as when Banquo is killed, his ghost appears during the feast. And then these are the prophecy which were made by the witches. The first which is all hail Macbeth, hail to the Thane of Glamis. Second which, all hail Macbeth, hail to the Thane of Cawdor. And third which, all hail Macbeth that shall be king hereafter. And witches promises to Banquo that thou shalt get kings though thou be none. And when we look at back the history of Scotland, we find that King James descended from the family of Banquo. Now these are the three apparitions. They are very important. That the first apparition is an armed head, Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff. Second is, be bloody, that is a bloody child, be bloody, bold and resolute, laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of a woman born shall harm Macbeth. And third is a child wearing a crown, holding a branch of a tree, holding a branch of a tree, and that says that Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham would to hide unseen, and hell shall come against him. Okay, so this is the apparition, and these are the some of the important quotes from the play Macbeth. Please go through it, and here is all. Thank you.